Hey, greetings everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Plan B Success. Have you ever wondered whether you work for a leader or a manager? Or have you wondered whether you yourself are a leader or a manager? There's definitely a difference between leaders and managers. Sometimes the terms are used interchangeably, but today we're going to focus on differentiating the leaders from the managers. So, if you have a team under your guidance and your care, what do you want to be? Would you want to be a manager or a leader? It's not that one is right and the other is wrong. It's just that the motivations of a manager and a leader are very, very different. And that's what we are going to visit today in order to find out how. In the world of entrepreneurship or in the corporate world that we live in, these two questions always apply, whether emphatically or in the back of people's minds. And what I want to do is I want to get to the root of the differences between leaders and managers in this particular episode so that we can talk about these qualities that are expressed by either role and what they mean to you, whether you're following someone or whether you are asking others to follow you. A manager is actually always preoccupied with making sure that the rules of the organization or of the particular department are followed correctly and that work is done accurately. That's what a manager is focused on, the right conduct of business, meeting outcomes predicted, your KPIs or your SLAs, whatever you want to call it. How do I ensure that the work is being done on time? How do I ensure that the work is being done accurately as defined by the rules and regulations that we follow? And how to make sure that people are following these processes and are respecting them? That's what a manager does. However, on the leader's end, it's slightly different. Leaders are about doing the right thing, while managers, as I said, are about doing things correctly or by the right rules. Leaders, in fact, want to make sure that the right thing is being done, even if it means breaking some conventions. If you're launching a new product or if you're doing something in terms of reporting on the weekly accomplishment, a leader will not act like a manager since you're required to do it and required to report the outcome. They're about actively making the case and setting the proper expectations as to how to do the right thing. If it means doing it differently, they're about doing it differently. The focus is always on doing the right thing, managing people by encouragement, and following through on things that people need to do. It's not about checking off an item on a checklist, which is what a manager would do. But a leader, it's not about checking off that item on that checklist. It's about challenging the status quo and asking people to step up to be more productive, to be more happier and fulfilled with what they're doing. That's the difference between a leader and a manager. Managers, as I said, prioritize quantifying and measuring value in terms of outcome. Here's the goals we got to reach. And here's the processes that we need to reach these goals. Let's go ahead and do it. Let's go ahead and accomplish those tasks in order to get to those outcomes that we have to get to. That's what managers do. They're about tracking work and tracking results that have been predicted to be reached, whether it's in terms of revenue, profit, volumes, costs. These are the things that managers are tracking and are hyper focused on in terms of meeting these goals. At the same time, when you look at a leader is focused on creating value. They don't dismiss the importance of measuring performance. Absolutely not. But a leader is not just about quantifying results, but is also about the quality of work getting done, the quality of output being created, the value that's being delivered, and what that value means both to the receiver, the end customer, the end client, and also to the one who's actually doing the work, the person who's working on producing that value for the end customer. What does it mean to them? That's what leaders are focused on. And in order to get to it, leaders are ready to take some risks, some calculated risks, in order to meander away from conventions to produce more value. Whereas managers are not about risk. They're about sticking to the rules to get to the outcome predicted. The other thing with a leader is leaders love cultivating independent and analytical resources. They're about motivating people. They're about enabling people. A leader could come out and say, hey, I used a process XYZ in order to get this outcome 1, 2, 3, and I was pretty successful with it. But I'm willing to listen to you to see if there's another way of doing this in order to get a better result, a better outcome. And if you have something to say, go ahead and let me know. That's enabling people. That's opening up the forum for people to talk. And when employees or associates chime in and provide their 2 cents, and a leader encourages them to do so, guess what? People will own what they say. If you approve a certain way of doing something that an employee brought up or an associate brought up, and you hand it back to them to go and execute on it, guess what? There's 90+% chance that they will come out with a very effective outcome. Whereas a manager is going to tell you that, hey, this is the way to do it. This is the outcome we got to get. Go ahead and do it. So a manager is basically instructing you as to how to go about doing a certain thing to reach a predicted outcome. A manager tells you what to do and how to get your results. A leader encourages you, enables you, and gets you thinking as to how best to create the value that you need to create. Now, those are the differences between a manager and a leader. Manager gives you tasks, tells you the consequences of not completing them a certain way. They talk about what could be the penalties if you don't reach your goals. Everything is not pure motivation. Sometimes there's negative motivation too. Performance metrics, KPIs have to be met. If they are not met, these are the things that we should be looking at in terms of things that are not getting done. These are the things that you would be responsible for, and if you don't meet your results, these are the penalties that will be applied. That's management. Leaders, by contrast, will enable you, will tell you that, hey, this is a process I used, it worked for me. Is there a better process? Or do you have something to add? Or should we just follow this? You guys tell me how to go about it. And once there's open-mindedness, there's acknowledgement of others' thoughts, guess what? The entire team is positively motivated and will own the outcome, will own the process as well as the outcome. And there'll be a higher quality outcome, more value created, because people understand that the leader trusts you and they trust the leader back. And that's how that relationship starts flourishing. So those are the differences between managers and leaders. Now ask yourself that question again. Are you a leader or a manager? Do you report into a leader or a manager? And based on the answers you get, you know how to interact with your associates, with your employees, as well as your supervisors. Hey, I hope you liked that episode. Please make sure you subscribe to Plan B Success on your favorite podcasting platform, and do share the word, do spread the word with others so that they might benefit from this content as well. Thank you very much.